Hi, everybody. We are here for the November energy update. We've got a lot coming up. As I had mentioned, these last 3 months of the year are really powerful times to get things in order. And so we're going to talk about that today because just a little precursor to this video. I sat down to do it as I normally do. I just kind of feel it and then I sit down. But this time was different. They brought through a full channeled, I'll just call it an essay, but it's poetry. And it's a little riddled, but not really. They kind of do that sometimes. I haven't had something like this come through for some time. I started out channeling poetry, but very specific messages for light workers. That's how I began. And I have hundreds of them, which those of you who are on my email list and or my Facebook see those regularly. And in my early videos, that's what I would use for kind of the conversation around a certain topic for the videos that I would do. Needless to say, I don't do channeled poetry much anymore. But they brought one through, which I'm going to start the video by reading. But what I want you to know is this theme right now carries forward from what we talked about last time. Remember the visual, I just got chills, of this force of light workers, all right? Those of you who, if you don't know what a light worker is, those of you who are going through this higher consciousness journey, building out our new earth from our heart space, creating something new, but that journey begins within, and it cannot be done without. So today, the real theme today is, where are you looking for your strength outside of yourself? We all still have pieces of that, all right? It doesn't mean we don't rely on others for assistance and help. It's, where is our foundation? Where is our foundation? What have we created inside ourselves? And we're going to talk a bit more about this. But this ties to what we're talking about for the next 3 months, because what they're saying to me, and I may have said this last time, and if not, I did say it to a client because some information came through. But basically, how you end your year is how you begin the new. All right? Now, we can argue, oh, that's all just one day, right? But it's not. It's very important, this new year coming up. We also live in a time-based reality. So this next 3 months, and again, this isn't about getting stressed out that, oh, I'm not doing my work, blah, blah, kind of thing. Just continuing to move forward in this journey, particularly these last 3 months, because what we're doing is setting the stage for the new year. Because as we've talked, and I haven't gone into a lot of detail about this, but starting to get information on 2025, we have some massive shift and change coming, and we have more, they just used the word confrontation. Now remember, this is all energy. This is all energy. And the confrontation is energetic, all right? It's with this massive light workers that are moving forward. And remember the cloak, the coming together, that beautiful look of, well, if you look at the thumbnail on my last video that I did before this one, that's what we look like. And I was amazed I was able to find a thumbnail to use that kind of represented what I was seeing. Needless to say, that's us in a group, and we're growing in our light, in our numbers, and we're moving forward in such a mass. And when we confront I'll just call it the wall of energy that no longer serves and that the foundation is cracking, we're going to be confronting that with a greater force. And the breakdown that we're going to start seeing, even though you can argue we've started to see this, we're really going to see it in spring. Okay, well, North America spring, not North America, I'm sorry, Northern Hemisphere in the spring, March, April timeframe, fall, obviously, for our Southern Hemisphere friends. So that said, I'm going to start out today by reading the poem. What I want you to remember, the theme of this is, where are you looking for the strength still outside of yourself? So that said, we have some portals coming up. Obviously, we have the 10-10, we have the 11-11, and we have the 12-12. Now, remember what they have said to me is that those three, they focus more on than any other toward the end of the year. They become, I don't understand this as a human, but they talk about it being more energetically powerful. There's more momentum, they just said. More momentum, they just said. So we have opportunity in front of us in these times. Oh, this is why the last 3 months. Okay, this makes more sense now. That was just my little revelation. Okay, so I just got huge chills. So 10:10, we're going into 11:11. We have this opportunity to be able to continue to, ride that wave or float on that cloud of energetic upliftment from the cosmos. All right. It's a portal energy that's coming in 11:11. It's on the heels of the 10:10. It's okay. They just said the word multiplicity. So it multiplies. Oh, okay. So it multiplies as we go through the end of the year. So this is why we really, and I know every year, we have these months, obviously we have these portals, but again, we're continuing to grow in our light. And so we're able to expand even further each year we go through this process. Okay. So again, we have a different scenario. Well, I'll say it's more impactful right now because we are having these incredible solar flares, more than we had last year at this time. So it's just an enhancement of the energy, allowing us to grow in our light. So like I have said before, we've been down here, okay? The cosmic energies are up here, and a lot of us get slammed. The average human's getting slammed. They may not understand it. They may not be aware of what's causing it. It may turn into, events in their lives, health situation, all those kinds of things, just not feeling good, all of that. But as we continue to rise in our frequency vibration, by the inner work that we do, we match, as I've said before, we start matching more of that cosmic energy coming in, those alignment energies coming in, the solar flare energies coming in. Doesn't mean we don't still feel it, but we're starting to more, they just said be in alignment, but match that energy so that it's not as disruptive. Now, this is a gradual process, and each to their own, right? So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Okay, so let's get back to going through the channeled message. And remember, it's poetic. It's a little riddled. Not too bad this time, though. That's just how they work with me. And then we'll just go on from there and see what we can bring in otherwise. So again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I'm a channel, I'm an intuitive guide, and I'm an energy healer. I specifically focus on spiritual awakening, mentoring for your ascension and life journey, as well as past lives through the channeling that I do. And so there are a number of offerings I have. You can check out purplerainhealing.com for all of my services. But thank you so much for being here today. I would so appreciate it if you like, share, and subscribe. It helps me reach other people with these important messages during these important times. And for all of you who have always been here, thank you so much for always joining me. And I love your comments. Please feel free to share your journey. We all learn from each other. I will say that over and over again. We all have information. We all are able to receive and to understand and know. So feel free to share. All right? With that, right now, we're going to go ahead. I think I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Like I had said, there are rare times now that they actually channel poetry, and I read it. Usually it's just flying through me, which it still does, but this is a little different. So I just spent the last probably 45 minutes writing this out and getting it so I could read it. They kind of send it to me in one big flow, and then I have to figure out the stanzas. It's not that hard, but it takes a while. So here we go, all right? Times of change are at hand. The waves that wash over the land brought to you the strength to be fortified by the numbers you see. When all looks dark and stormy too, know that they will soon turn to blue, but nothing comes from standing still as the tides of change clears out the swill. Never is it as you see with eyes, but instead an energetic tide sweeping across the land so wide. One thing appears and the next you know, changing the course it is to bestow. Do not keep your eyes peeled to be on the sights that are in front of thee. Instead, focus on what you can do. The light of your inner flame will guide you through in the times that human sight will say all is lost, and yet not true. So keep the beacon pointed at you. Strength in numbers you are, but the strongest by far are those who focus within. For it is only of this light that will come from each of your deep insides to be that turns the moving tide to love and light. You will see this and know this when others will say, just look and see what is happening in your sight. But you know you are together an energetic force with might, a crack here and a crack there. No more can what fights so hard to hold you in place will be able to sustain the light of grace brought to you all together to be, but coming from you, the individual flame of your own journey. For this is first and foremost an individual path you take to be a vibration and frequency, as the collective is built on the inner growth of thee. So keep your focus on what you can do to choose what serves the most for you, and let go of what no longer serves you too. For the strength of the one, that's you, we say, is the glue that holds you all together collectively. So, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, but that is such a theme. Listen to that again. Listen to that again, because this is what we're talking about here. Where are you looking for the strength outside of yourself, right? So this is a time to reinforce, I just heard that word, reinforce, what we're already doing. Now, this is a continued journey of upliftment. It doesn't mean we're done when we feel like we're feeling whole. More will come for us, but here's the thing, or more will come to us for learning and growth, but it will be on a higher elevated plane, all right? So what we're looking at now is starting to feel as though we are, I'll just kind of say, I don't know how to explain this very well, but we're matching the energies that are presented to us versus getting just hammered all the time with, and I'm not just talking about aches and pains and things like this. I'm talking about our life in general, all the things that are presented to us, the choices we make, the people that come our way, all the things, all right? So many of us have shifted and changed where we have gained so much clarity in our journey forward that we've made decisions about things that don't serve us. And, big things are, work, friendships, family, major relationships. I mean, it goes on and on, right? Habits, addictions, how we treat ourselves, the words we choose to use with ourselves. I mean, it is down to the nitty gritty little kinds of things, the kernels where we will be presented, and we need to be aware in every single moment there is something presented to us. Minor little things like what somebody said to us that should have no relevance whatsoever, but we're offended. We're deeply offended by something that we're creating maybe a story out of, right? Why? Where's that coming from? Where was that hurt? What is that presenting to you for learning? We're literally getting down to this level, all right? Now, we're all at different stages of this, so what I don't want you to think is, oh my gosh, I have to rush, like I said earlier, to get all this done by the end of the year. No. It's are you where you need to be for where you're at in the journey? And you're going to know this because of how you feel, all right? In other words, are you, and this is just a simple example, when you make certain decisions in your day to day, or you relate to people in a certain way, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about this? Is it being carried with you throughout the day and you're feeling low and you're feeling like, I wish I would have done that differently, and kind of an over and over kind of thing, a pattern? Making decisions that don't maybe serve you, not using your voice, right? So this is all the whole chakra thing, right? Like, do we use our voice when we need to? Or do we just let others control the day and step on us? And do we just accept that? Do we speak our truth? All those kinds of things. Oh, they just said the word inventory. They really are wanting us to do an inventory. Oh my gosh. Okay. Of where we're at with all of that. Take a day where you go through your day and you realize when you're off center, all right? When you're off center and you're carrying it with you. And this takes real self-reflection in a, probably pretty busy day for most of us, right? Self-reflection of, oh, I'm carrying this thing forward. Where's that feeling coming from? Oh, that just happened about an hour ago. Oh my gosh, I'm carrying that forward. understand that. You can even put this down in a journal. I've mentioned this before. We don't all have like the time to be able to reflect immediately while we're at work or whatever it is, raising a family, those kinds of things. You can put a journal down, but at the end of the day, look back and go, what am I still holding on to? What am I still feeling from today? That's a great way to do it, is look at the end of the day, go, wait a minute. I don't, especially when we know what our center is, when as we grow in this spiritual awakening journey, we start understanding, it's kind of like forming, it's like taking a blob of clay, this is what they're showing me, and forming a beautiful sculpture. That's what we're doing. A chip here and a chip there and forming it. Where do you not feel like you are quite done with your masterpiece, right? Because we're always working on that, but as we're forming it, it'll be like, wait, why do I feel off today? Why does this still feel? And this is self-awareness. This journey is first and foremost self-awareness, all right? So getting down into the detail and understanding that the answers are within. The answers are within. Now, this doesn't mean we don't take into account information provided to us. But what we do is we use, they just said, discretion and discernment. What is right for me? What is right for me? Rather than what we have so often done to one degree or another, looked for the answers outside ourselves. And that just gives our energy away. And we've talked about this before. But we are in a time right now, and November is really an important time. Oh, they just said to get closure on some things. Yep. So these little nitty things that we may be carrying forward, like if you are still feeling 3 days later some kind of disturbed sense of yourself, where's that coming from? We want to look back and understand that, okay? This is how deep this journey gets, okay? Anyway, some people have a lot of big decision making to make right now, I will say. How are they going to move forward in their journey in the new year? Setting the stage for that. How are you going to move through family dynamics that are not the most conducive for you at this point in time in your journey? How are you going to move through that? All right. We do have options. We have ways of being able to move through. But when we work on centering ourselves, think of it. They keep bringing this through. Think of creating that masterpiece sculpture that's within from that lump of clay, right? That's what we've been doing this whole awakening journey. And we are creating that masterpiece. And remember, that masterpiece is the light that you share, that field that you offer, the strength that you are because of the choices you've made for yourself. Things that don't serve you, you've stripped down, you've pared down, you've learned how to deal with the things that do come your way so that you're not caught off center anymore, right? It doesn't mean we don't still have these things come our way that don't feel right, but it's what we do with them. Are we internalizing them? Are we helping? Are we allowing them to define us? So this is about us building out our light force, our field, through all of the work that we're doing, so that then we roll up into the collective. All right. So each one of us, as many of you already know, but again, this needs to be talked about. Each one of us bringing that energy back in, internalizing that beautiful light, growing that beautiful light through the things we've just talked about, allows us to collectively be strong and then fight the forces that want to keep us held down. And when I say fight, I'm not saying literal fight. I'm talking, this is all energetic. This is all energetic. And yes, we see things out there, as the poem says, but that's not our sight. That is not our sight. Our sight is our energy. Our sight is our field that we are building. And that field is built by the choices we make every single day, the work we've done, the healing journey, the internalizing or externalizing of what we offer or are offered each day. So November is this time of really taking stock. They just said taking stock and really being able to, again, they just keep talking about not looking outside yourself. This also means not looking outside yourself for, when we talk about, I know we've got a lot coming up worldwide, particularly in the United States, coming up soon, right? On, shift and change in the power structure. And so regardless of what happens there, it's a shift and a change, right? So what we want to make sure of is that we're not drowning in what is out there externally. All right. We know the old is breaking down and the new is being built. It's already being built. We've talked about this over and over again. All right. The new is being rebuilt as the old is breaking down. And we're going to we're going to give a side eye to all that and go, oh yeah, okay, whatever. I'm going to work on this. Right. So we are building the new as the old is breaking down. And what we don't want to have happen, I'm going to encourage all of you right now, because it's insidious, to not get stuck in what's happening over here. They always show the left as something that's leaving, energy that's leaving, or is weakening, or is going away, or that it no longer has the power it has. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not going to look like it, but it doesn't. It may have a scary face on, but it doesn't have power anymore. On the right, they always show me what is progressive, what is the future, and what is to come, okay? And we are over here, and very much the things that we're seeing out there now in these times are on the left, all right? So don't get stuck over there on the left side, okay? Don't get stuck in, it's very easy to do, particularly in these times, I will say. So you got to know thyself, know when you're getting sucked in, because sometimes you're not going to know. All of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I'm doom scrolling or whatever you do, right? Stop and reset. It's self-awareness to be able to pull yourself out of it and finding something else to do, reframing where you're at in what you allow to be able to guide you forward, all right? Focusing on the inner you, focusing on the things that will assist you forward in becoming your own strength. So let's take a look a little bit. This is a very individual, because it's really important right now that we as individuals aren't looking to the outside for answers. Again, I go back to, it doesn't mean you don't look to others who assist you, who may have information, who may help provide synchronicity. That's not what I'm saying. You don't go into a shell and do nothing, but it's who and what you choose to have offered to you and what you take in. And then you decide yourself, okay? As I've always said in all of my sessions, take what resonates, toss the rest aside. And it's the same for these videos. Take what resonates, toss the rest aside. But again, this is about asking the question, where are you looking for the strength outside of yourself still? Now, if you say, oh, nowhere, think again. Because I'll bet you if you get down to the little bitty nits and grits, you're going to find something. Okay? They've always said this is a fine-tooth comb journey. You know, we think we've done the thing, and then that's why lots of this stuff roars back at us later on, and we're like, why is this back? Because this is a very detailed, dust in the corners kind of journey. All right? So I would say if you feel like, no, I don't have anything at all, ask that question again and sit with it, okay? So, November, let's just see if there's anything else they want to talk about. Hold on. So, let's just see if we've got anything else. We're not going to do any more poems. We've already done that. Let's see if we see anything. Okay, they just said all eyes. Yeah. I think we know that. Okay, they just said all eyes are focused on the West, but it doesn't mean just us in the United States, or I should say those of us who are in the United States, but all eyes are peeled, okay? Yeah. There's bated breath. Okay. With bated breath. See, we're in the upside down, okay? We've talked about this before. And they talked about that in the poem a bit. But they didn't call it the upside down. But if you listen to that again, you'll see what they're talking about. Again, the idea of seeing with our eyes. You know, they talk a lot about the tides of change. And they're talking about... That's interesting. I don't know. I'm just going to give this to you. I'm not able to, I feel like I'm not going to be able to put it into a story, but they're talking about the winds from the east. What does that mean? And they're showing the Atlantic Ocean. The winds from the east. Now, I don't know if this is a literal representation of like hurricanes but there's winds from the east, but this feels more like, I don't know if there's a coming together of understanding. They're showing Africa and Europe, parts of Europe. Maybe it's a political understanding. Maybe there's a political alignment happening. And some of you may know things. I don't keep track of any of this, of what's going on, politically speaking, but I keep getting this alignment. I remember we brought France in at one point, a couple months ago, with respect to alignments. I know Africa came in at one point, but I don't know why I'm seeing both of them again facing toward the west. And there's the tides of change. They're talking about this sweeping across the Atlantic, and of course we have, interestingly, the political, we'll just call it power, although it really isn't anymore, right? But even though it seems like it, political power in the United States rests on the East Coast, but there is something happening. There's something happening there. I have chills too. I don't know. And again, as I may get more information. If I do, I'll add that to a next video. But I keep getting, this is all tied to the times we're in, the shift and change. The shift and change. Because they're talking about opening up the door to new opportunity to flow our way. New opportunity to flow our way. And see, remember, it's going to look a little, I don't want to say this. For those of us on this journey that have been doing this for a while, it's going to look and feel a little bit different, these tides of change, where some of us are going to get buffeted around. I'm talking in the collective. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter really what's happening. It's still happening. I don't know, that didn't even make any sense. This journey of ours is not getting dissuaded. I think it said that in here. It is not. We just keep doing our thing. We just keep marching forward. We keep doing our thing. It doesn't matter out there, right? It doesn't matter. I know we want to know, which is why I bring that information through, so that we can kind of get a sense of things. But here's the thing. Our stability is within ourselves. It's still going to hold, all right? And so we can kind of look on the outside and go, okay, that's happening, this is happening, but we're still here. I want you to know that, okay? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to finish up for today. Again, this felt very personal today, very individual today for November, really focusing on not what's out there, but what's in here, right? And really, again, and I know I've said this about 5 times, and I'm going to say it again, where are you still looking for the strength outside of yourself? All right, where? And look at how that works every single day, and then study that and understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Because remember, it's about how we feel. How do we feel about the thing that has happened? Where are you looking for the strength still outside of yourself? And again, as I say, we can take information in. It's just, what do we choose to do with it? Does it resonate? We don't have to just own it because somebody said something or told you to do something. We don't have to own that. We don't have to own any of that. But we all have it happen to us. So take a look at where you are still looking for the strength outside of yourself. And with that, I'm going to leave you today with that energy update. I hope it was helpful to you. Again, as I always say, take what resonates, toss the rest aside. And if you'd like to consider working with me in support for your spiritual awakening journey, your life journey, your ascension journey, I am here to help you through purplerainhealing.com, where I list all of my services and also offer a 15-minute complimentary consultation if you want to talk with me about what might work for you. So again, it's always a joy to hear from you. Feel free to leave comments as you wish, and I will see you in the next video.